Welcome to Inside the Pinnacle Bank Championship, live from the club at Indian Creek. Anna Bellinghausen, Andrew Rogers, joined by Jay Moore, former defensive end at the University of Nebraska. Graduation year 06, Jay?
That is correct.
Look at that.
Way to date me. That's how I feel really old.
Jeez,
Well, you know what? I had to throw something at him because you know what really grinds my gears?
What?
When somebody is so good and so gifted at multiple sports. That really I just want to just step on you like a bug, except Jay's so big he'd step on me and squash me. Former fourth-round pick to the San Francisco 49ers, a member of the St. Louis Rams practice squad at one point, my hometown team, which they can... I can forget them now.
A little salty, I think.
You know what? Yeah,
yep.
It leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But, Jay, thanks for joining us. And, guys, what a beautiful day to open up round one of the Pinnacle Bank Championship.
Yeah, it's super nice out. It's going to get a little warm, but can't beat this. Light breezes at the south, and yeah, I'm excited to chat with you guys and excited to go watch a little golf after.
Yeah, Jay, thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
It's like Christmas time for these golfers trying to get a PGA Tour card. Pretty exciting golf we have upcoming.
Yeah, it's, I think the way they moved this event, I think it was always played about a month earlier, I believe in July, maybe late July. But the way this figures, it sits now to where they're going to give out, the 25 cards at the end of this event. I think this is a perfect spot for this event just because I think this is one of the tougher golf courses they play all year. I know Indian Creek takes pride. I know the Gotch family who owns the golf course takes pride. I know Jim Nedrow, who's the head superintendent here, takes pride in getting this golf course ready to give these guys the best challenge year in, year out. And so far they have. I mean, it's a really hard golf course. I played a lot. It's amazing what these guys shoot for 4 days on this golf course, but it just shows you how good of talent and how just well they play. Because it's one thing to play casual rounds with your buddies, but when you have to count every shot and you're playing for your livelihood, and these guys are at a whole nother level.
It's interesting you bring that up, and thank goodness you've played this course, because I haven't. I've seen people play this course, and I've taken video of college golfers that have played this course. But how difficult of a course? Go more into it. What do the fairways look like? How thick are the roughs? Are the greens fast? Are they slow?
No, it's a really hard. It's a very difficult golf course. It's definitely, I would say, more of a second shot golf course. I think you have some room to miss it here and there off the tee, but the rough is very penal. Jim Nedrow, the head superintendent, they keep it long around here all year long. So this is a public golf course. I couldn't imagine playing here every day. I mean, it is. You play here and you can be 5 feet off the golf course, 5 feet off the fairway, and you have a hard time.
I'm probably playing 5 feet off the golf course.
5 feet off the fairway, and it's hard to find your golf ball. And then the greens are firm and fast, and so the fairway. I mean, it is really good. They've extended this golf course. They've added a new tee back here on. Well, I know it as 1 gray. I think that's 10 for them. They've added.
I think you're right.
So 13. They added a new tee. I believe they've added 3 or 4 new tee boxes for these guys. So this is already a very long golf course. I think it probably plays around 7,300 yards for these guys. But I think they can stretch it up to about 75, 76. If they really wanted to, and just kind of depends on the wind. They've added length, so this is a really challenging golf course. Depending on the wind, normally for Nebraska you have a predominantly south breeze. So some of these tees, when I play here, I wear out my 5 and 6 iron on par 4s. You don't get that a lot for normal golf courses around here. So that just shows how good they are when they can control their 5 and 6 irons and probably 7 and 8 irons, because I know they hit a lot further than I do in some of these par 4s and get it around and make some putts. You get nice things here. The greens are so pure. They're just and
they're
smooth.
big. If I'm
very
correct.
big. Yeah, they're very big. But you get the putt going on the correct line at the right speed, they're going to go in. There's not too many imperfections, which is another another tip the cap to Indian Creek and Jim Nedrow, that the fact that they get so many public play out here throughout the year, and then they just get this thing mint for these guys for 4 days.
Yeah, I thought about that the other day because I'm like, what is the nicest course to play in Omaha? Because if you get a PGA event at a course, you would think, wow, that has to be the best. And the club at Indian Creek is I would say, probably the best public course.
By far it is. It is the best public facility. If you brought someone from out of town and said this is a private course, they'd say, I believe you. It's that good. The city of Omaha has great golf courses. And the sad, not the sad thing, but the unfortunate thing is, they're all private. Omaha Country Club,
Right.
Oak Hills, Shadow Ridge. I'm missing a few. Happy Hollow. I'm missing probably a couple other ones off the top of my head. But this is by far the nicest facility. If I lived in Omaha, I live in Lincoln, but if I lived in Omaha, I don't know if I'd probably belong anywhere. I might just come up here and utilize the facilities here because it's that good.
With this being the finale of the Korn Ferry Tour, how do golfers' approaches kind of change with the pressure all being on this?
Yeah, I think it just varies to where you sit. I mean, there's guys playing this week that they could probably miss the cut, and they're still going to be in the top 25.
Right.
So I think that's a nice thing for them. But then you have guys who, know that they are not there's probably without winning, they probably don't have a chance of getting in the top 25. So they're just trying to jockey themselves for a better position to get them into, the playoffs, so you say, because, the guys who are out of the top 25 and then the guys who are out of the top 125 on the PGA Tour, they kind of come together and have these events for the last, I think, 3 or 4 events on the Korn Ferry Tour. So I think they're just trying to jockey themselves in position to get into those next events when they kind of combine tours, and then just trying to get themselves into a point where they're going to have status, going to have somewhere to play the next year. And I think that might be the top 75, I believe. I'm not, you'd probably have to check me on that, but I think that's very important just because, you're always trying to, you're trying to get yourself a place to play next year. That's most important. You want to give yourself a job.
The top 75, yes, that's correct. You get to be on the Korn Ferry Tour next year. So that's you having a job. That's you having a place to play. You're knowing that paycheck is coming, and you're having the ability to join these tournaments and whatnot. What's it like being on maybe the bottom from your perspective if you were going out there trying to get a card in the top 25 when hey, I have to get in the top 3 or I have to win this whole thing? Yeah,
it's really hard. I play golf competitively at an amateur level, and that's hard enough. I've been there in the NFL when you're on the bottom, you're trying to fight for that 53, that 53rd spot on a roster, going through training camp or whatever it is. So it's hard, and it's different for these guys as well because, in football, if you're part of the team, you're going to get a paycheck. That's not necessarily the same. You have to make the cut, and then you have to finish rather further up on the leaderboard just to make the money that you need to make because. Golfers have to pay for their travel. They have to pay for their stay. Don't have to really pay for food. They have dining, but and that's tough. They have a lot more expenses than other professional athletes do. So if you have to make the cut, and if you don't, there's no money. So then you're probably out $2,500 for the week. And then if you do make the cut, you want to be able to, be in the black and not in the red because you could make the cut, maybe finish, in the 50th second place and make $1,500. You're like, oh, neat, I broke even for the week. Or, because you got caddies involved as well. You got to pay your caddy. So there's a lot of expenses these guys have to take. So it's hard. There's a lot of pressure, but that just kind of shows you how good they are, too, that they're able to play so well under pressure and get the job done. And golf's a goofy game. It's some days it is really easy, and some days it's really hard. So, I think they do a good job of kind of rolling with the punches.
And I'm not a Korn Ferry Tour aficionado by any means. So I had to take a class, essentially, coming into this week. I mean, a kid from, St. Louis, not really getting a lot of Korn Ferry Tour events, if any. I saw the PGA at Belle Reve, and I think that was back in 2018. Don't quote me on that. But I had to do a lot of homework on this because it is different. It's the farm system of golf, essentially. So I'm happy you guys brought up the purse. I'm happy you guys brought up the points because I want to kind of explain some of those things for those like me who had to learn that coming into this tournament, especially because this is the one. This is where you get your PGA card. So 600 points for the winner, of course. Anna, you had mentioned before the show that there is one golfer named
Ashton Van Horn. He has to win.
He has to win in order to get his card.
Correct.
So those 600 points matter to a lot of the guys in this tournament. So the standardized points breakdown across this event, of course, is 600, and then I think it goes to like 330 and so forth down the list. But what's interesting is even if you don't get your card today, if you fall within the 26 to 75, as we alluded to, you still have a chance to go on the Korn Ferry Finals. You'll face off against other PGA Tour pros that lost their card, and I believe that's 126 to 200. So there's still a chance to grab a card. You just have to then perform in the Korn Ferry Finals, and then 25 more cards are given. And then those point structures reset if you're in the Korn Ferry Finals. So if you get your card today. You can still play in the finals, and now you just add to your point total because
right.
then if you win, you get an automatic bid to the U.S. Open.
Another important part of that is that there's 15 that have already been on that fail-safe threshold. So 10 essentially cards are really up for grabs. There's already 15 that have pretty much already been claimed by those points breakdown.
Right, absolutely. So there are 15, as Anna said, that are locks, but not official locks until the end of the tournament, but that nobody can pass them, essentially, is where that sits. So there are a lot of guys on the bubble, too. When you fall into the mix of that 16 to, well, I'll just go up to 30, that 16 to 30 mark, there's so much fluctuation in the points. I think 4 guys behind Michael Kim right now, who sits at 25, are 40 points or less. So there's just a lot of movement that can take place. So it's pretty easy to secure a spot. And it's not like people just walk into this tournament and like, oh, it's going to be cake. I'm going to get my card at the end of this.
Yeah, well, it's just you could go crazy kind of if you're in that threshold you're referring to. You can go nuts just trying to figure out, okay, what do I have to do? And I think some guys can do that, and some guys play better when they know exactly what they have to do. I couldn't do that. I try to keep it, if I was out there, I'd try to keep it as simple as possible. I would just be like, all right, I'm just going to go play golf. I'm going to try to hit, commit to every golf shot and just kind of let the chips fall, and whatever happens. Right. And kind of just be fully committed to everything. So whether it's here or on the PGA Tour, that's all the, you need a statistician here just to kind of break everything down, just to say, okay, if he 2-putts this for par or for birdie on this par 5, he bumps himself up to 24th place. But if he misses this, he's down to 38th place. It's like it's crazy.
You don't want to be thinking about that.
God, you couldn't. No, absolutely. You could go crazy. And like I said, like I referred to earlier, I think some guys like that. They like to kind of, because golfers are very analytical people, in my opinion. But some are completely not. So I would go crazy trying to figure all this out. But it's also a good thing to kind of be right there. You have a chance. I think everybody wants a chance to get their card, and I know everyone has a dream to play on the PGA Tour. So if they can capitalize,
dreams
more
will come true here.
Yes,
right.
Very much so.
And anything can happen on any given day. I mean, some guy could be four strokes ahead of second place, and he crumbles on Sunday, and you shoot 4 over, and now it's anybody's game. So that never count anybody out. And one person that I don't want to count out of getting their PGA card, who's only 40 points back, is Pearson Coody. He is one of my favorite stories. He's got such a rich golf legacy. He's just got golf in his blood. His grandpa Charles won the Masters back in 1971. He was a really good golfer at Texas, a really good college golfer. And being only 40 points back from Kim, I think he's going to turn some heads this weekend and grab his card by the end of it. Who do you think? Who do you like? Because some people.
Yeah, well, I 2 really good friends of mine, Brandon Crick and Scott Gucheski. I played a lot of golf with them, so obviously rooting for them. Gooch just lives. We refer to Gucheski Gooch as he just lives, a mile down the road from here. Brandon, played golf in Nebraska and has played well here before. So I think I like those 2 guys here just because there's familiarity. But, you referenced Pearson Coody. I mean, he kind of had a crazy travel story. I'd seen he got in like at
22 hours.
Yeah, he got a flight canceled at Utah where the previous tour event was, and got here. And I'm sure he's never seen this golf course, so all of a sudden he probably only gets, a day to kind of check it out, but he's so good that
I wonder if could you drive from Utah to here faster than his flight?
Yes, I would think so, because I've made that drive from Salt Lake City, and it's about 12 hours.
Yeah.
So I would
just kicking himself now.
So I wondered if that ever went through his head, because he said he had a layover in I don't remember.
Wasn't it Phoenix? Or something?
Yeah, for like 8 hours. I'm like, dude, you could have whatever, but.
Finish Stranger Things.
Yeah, right. No kidding. Yeah, I would have hopped in a car and started heading east as soon as possible. And that flight got canceled, knowing just the headaches that were coming, and just knowing that. I mean, and maybe he didn't just want to sit in a car for that long by himself. I don't know, but I would have.
I'm not a huge car driver either.
Yeah.
Car driver. We're going to count it. I'm not a huge fan of riding in a car, is how I should have started that off.
Right.
So I actually would probably wait for the layover too, just because I am one that's like, I'd rather get from point A to point B as fast as possible. I don't want to see any scenery. Yeah. Just get me in the air and land me down.
I hate flying. I don't hate flying. It's not because I'm a big guy. I'm not comfortable flying. I'd be much more comfortable driving, and I like the fact that I'm in control too. It's like I don't have to worry about any more cancellations, any more delays. Like I'll get there as fast as this car goes and how many stops I need to make to fill up gas and use the restroom or get some food. So
this was our aisle in an airplane. It'd be a pretty tough ride for us.
I don't know.
Especially you in the middle.
He'd get 2 armrests. Yeah. We all know airplane etiquette.
Yeah. Good point. Good point.
Am I the aisle or the window?
I'm the window.
You're the window?
Yeah.
I get a little extra leg. I'm all about that. Another guy I really like in the Pinnacle Bank Championship this weekend is Justin Suh. He jumped from 17 to 7, I believe, about 10 spots on the points rankings list. All he needed was a tie for 22 last week, and then he dropped to 2 and went tied for second. Because why not?
Sure.
Why not? Got to go that way. So he is indeed number 7 entering this week. He has 7 top 10 finishes, and finally pushed him to the tour. We talked about how people have cards locked up already, but he's not going to stop here because these points, like we talked about, carry over once you decide to play in the Korn Ferry Finals. Number 1 in all around, number 2 in scoring. Is there a hotter hand? Is there a hotter hand?
No, that's the nice thing about the good thing about golf is you want to ride those hot hands, those heaters. You want to keep playing as long as possible because we know when you play this game long enough, and especially for these guys, you're just not going to have it one week. So when you're playing well, you just want to keep parlaying that into the next week, into the next week, and the next week, and just hopefully, you get a hot putter and the putts go in, the ball striking's there, the short game's there, and you just capitalize. And that's what these guys are doing right now. And they'll, whether he's going to take maybe a week off in the after this, but if you're playing well, just keep going, and just keep going. And just, like I said, better your situation, better your standings within, the 75 or even trying to get into the top 25 potential this week. Anna,
who do you like? Because I kind of skipped over you. I'm sorry.
I really like that guy, Ben Griffin.
Ben Griffin. I have a story about Ben Griffin.
When I said
Go ahead. Talk about Ben Griffin, and then I want to tell a story.
I will let you tell the story, obviously. But Ben Griffin,
I will tell the story.
I think just that, what Andrew will enlighten us all about. I think he's sitting really well in the standings right now. I think he has a clear chance. And again, it's just about who gets hot at the right time. And it's all about that mindset going into this. I think just Ben just got a good shot.
So over the course of our podcasting here, Thursday, Saturday, and Sunday, I've compiled 3 stories of golfers that I really like. I did a lot of research, and I know Ben Griffin's kind of the obvious story, so I wanted to start with that before I got into some other ones that people may not exactly know about. But I wanted to tell stories of 3 golfers in particular. And here's the Ben Griffin story, okay? He, of course, is the story everybody's been talking about. So for those that don't know, Ben Griffin finished 4th at the Wyndham Championship last week. That's, of course, a PGA Tour event. He posted back-to-back 64s on Saturday and Sunday. And with the top 5 finish, he took home $358,000. Okay, that's nearly $100,000 more than his total career earnings, which rested at about $265,000. Now, you may be asking, Andrew, how can this be? How can he play in a PGA Tour event and not have his card, right? Well, he got a sponsor exemption, so everybody know what that means? Jay probably does. Anna, do you know what a sponsor exemption is? So a sponsor exemption, and I'm happy you said that because I would have explained it anyway. So that's like an automobile company. So Brand X is sponsoring such and such tournament, and they can issue now a sponsor exemption for player A to take place in this tournament. Does that make sense?
Okay, yeah.
So as long as you get a sponsorship exemption, you don't need your PGA card to play. But this isn't the juicy part of the story. What's absolutely amazing about this is this finish follows a fairy tale story of returning to golf after retiring from the game a year ago. Following 5 straight missed cuts on the PGA Tour in Latino America, I believe that's...
Yeah, the Latin American Tour, yep.
Correct. Yep. Griffin retired and became a mortgage loan officer. Who, and maybe I got to touch base with him because I'm in the process of buying a house. But he became a mortgage loan officer. And then after several months away from the game, he was invited to play and a member guest at Highland Springs Country Club. A few weeks after, club members paid for him to play in the Korn Ferry Tour's Price Cutter Charity Championships qualifier. He shot a 65, qualified for the Price Cut Charity Championship, shot 3 under through 2 rounds, and he barely missed the cut. But shortly after, he picked up an endorsement deal with CapTech and once again was all in on the game of golf. He's going to get his PGA card on Sunday. He's currently 5th in the top 25. So what an amazing turnaround story. Like, you just give up on something. And I've never been in a position to where I've had to give up on something, and this is where I'm going to bring Jay in. And I'm not saying, he gave up on football by any means, but how hard is it to make that call?
Yeah,
to just say I'm going to stop.
It's hard for me. Football, it wasn't very hard because I played for 6 years, but I just ran out of you get older and golf's a game you can play well into your 40s and play it really well. And hell, some guys are playing in their 50s on the PGA Tour and doing a really good job at it. But when you kind of run out of a place to play, there wasn't a Korn Ferry Tour per se for the NFL, so I wasn't I could drop down and go play. There wasn't some other league. I mean, if I wanted to go play arena ball or something like that, but I wasn't going to do it. But it's football is such a different animal because you just beat your body up so much. It's the juice has to be worth the squeeze for you to go and put yourself through it. Golf's a little different, and that just shows you how goofy golf is. And I was having this discussion with a friend of mine, and golf's, you play football in all the sports I grew up playing football, baseball, basketball. The harder you try, the better your results are. And sometimes golf's the opposite. It's the harder you try, the worse you get. It's weird. It's so weird. And I always say that's what these guys do so well. They find this happy medium of not giving a damn and giving a damn. It's just that. That's that perfect fine line because you care, but you don't want to care too much. It's goofy, and that just kind of showed he tried, didn't happen. All of a sudden, he just went out and played and didn't try as hard. It's boom, he just found. That's just
didn't put as much pressure on himself.
Correct. You didn't have to because he was, and then all of a sudden, boom, you get a little break from it, and then you realize, dang, I got it pretty good. I had it pretty good, and it's just goofy. Sometimes when you least expect it, good golf happens.
Gosh, I mean, maybe I need to take more notes because I try too hard.
Try less.
Well, you know what? I'm that type of guy that stands at the tee and I'm grip it and rip it. Here we go.
What's the movie? Gosh, it's my wife always tells me this.
Happy Gilmore? Caddyshack?
No. It's not even a golf movie.
Okay.
It's he was dating the oh my gosh.
Help me out. Give me some
he
clues.
was dating an actress, but he did the music for the show, and then then he breaks up with her. He goes to Hawaii on vacation, and they're there on vacation too, and she's dating the Russell Brand character. Forgetting Sarah Marshall. There it is.
Our producer.
Thank you, Sasha.
Stepping in.
Thank you, Sasha. Yes, and so
movie aficionado.
Yeah, forgetting Sarah Marshall, and he takes a surfing lesson, and it's with Paul Rudd, and he's just do less. Do less. You're trying too hard. Do less. And so, my wife's always just do less. I'm it's so hard to not do less.
Right.
I always just want to do more and more and more, but sometimes you have to do less.
It's funny.
Based off your last name, we get
it. Yeah, do more.
Yeah.
With football and golf, obviously golf's a non-contact sport. Most of the time, there could be some contact on the course. You never know. But what part of maybe your football game translated to golf, or the mentality is the work ethic?
Yeah, and that's probably why I'm bad at golf, because I didn't play football.
Yeah, you weren't in the NFL.
My parents didn't let me, so I kind of blame them.
Throw out your shoulder.
Yeah, great.
There's not a lot of similarities. But the one thing is just the work ethic. I love to practice and work at it. I love to grind. I could practice for 4 to 6 hours every day, and I like to play, and I just like to compete. That's the other thing. Like to compete, but it's just golf. I didn't play golf until I was in college. Started playing it, but when I retired from football, it made my transition much easier because golf helped kind of replace that competitiveness.
Right.
I can go practice and just kind of take my mind off of work or something else or other things. So it's a beautiful game. I wish I would have started playing earlier.
Yeah.
I really did. I mean, I wouldn't trade playing at Nebraska and having a chance to play in the NFL for anything, but it would have been fun to play earlier and got introduced to it earlier, but it is what it is.
Yeah, who introduced you to the game?
My roommate. So my roommate in college was Stuart Bradley. He was from Utah. He was a third-round draft pick. He played for 8 or 9 years in the NFL with Eagles, Cardinals, and I think he ended his career with the Broncos. But he grew up playing, and he's like, let's go out and play. And I think the first 18-hole round golf I ever played, it was at a golf course in Lincoln, Nebraska by the airport called Highlands. Public course, I shot 120. And he shot 90. And I'm like, ugh, I hated the fact that he just smoked me. So I just wanted to get better. I started practicing a little more. I started hitting more balls. Just my competitive juices kicked in. And then I think the next year I was shooting in the 70s. It's weird. I just made this immaculate.
Unbelievable. This is
immaculate leap at it. So then once that happened, once I started shooting in the 70s, I was completely hooked. I'm like, oh my God, I love this game. It's the greatest game ever. I wish, I could play more, but football, you got about 3 months to play golf, especially around here, and there's no way you could play football in the middle of the season. Our bodies are just too banged up. But yeah, it was Stu Bradley. I owe everything to him and why I'm completely obsessed with this game now.
And you redshirted freshman year, right?
Yes, I did.
So did you play a lot during the season when the team was like on the road?
I would. Yeah, my dad would, like in away games, and we'd go out and play. So we would do that every now and then. But
Thank goodness you brought your dad, because you probably didn't have the money to go by yourself.
Correct. And that's funny because I got my dad into the game of golf because of this. Because like, Dad, hey, come down and play golf. And hey, can you pay for the $45?
$45?
Can you pay for the $45 tee fee?
Did you guys get a cart?
I enjoy walking a lot. I'll take a cart every now and then. It just depends on how many cocktails I want to have. It's a day of cocktails. We're taking a cart. But a lot of times I play competitively. I try to walk. It's because it kind of slows me down. Then I don't drink too many cocktails. Yeah. That can be, there's always a fine line there as well. So I try
Another
to walk.
kryptonite of mine.
Yeah. But it's also, it's a good workout too. I'm always trying to drop a few LBs. So I'll try to walk as much as I can on a golf course.
I love to hear that. Other guys on the bubble, though, I want to get back to the Korn Ferry Tour. I feel like, I just get on tangents, and then we talk about something, and then I'm like, are we still at the Korn Ferry Tour? Other guys to watch out for on the bubble, Ben Taylor at 23, Vincent Norman at 24. We talked about Michael Kim. He also has PGA experience, won the 2018 John Deere Classic. So you can never count out a guy like him in a position he's in right now. Brandon Harkin sits 3 points, is actually 3.005 to be exact, behind Michael Kim. He just needs a solo 73rd for a chance at a card this week. And then Ryan McCormick, one name after him, 3.634 points behind Michael Kim. He needs a two-way tied for 68 at minimum for a chance at the card. So that's why when we were talking about earlier in the episode that, 4 guys are just within 40 points of that top 25. Nobody is comfortable from the 20 mark all the way down. Ben Taylor is interesting. He was on the tour back from 2019 to 2021, so he's trying to get back. Vincent Norman, he's a rookie out of Florida State. They call him the Sweet Swinging Swede, and I love it.
That's a good one.
Absolutely love that.
Do you have a nickname?
I do not have a nickname. No, I don't.
Not on the course?
Not anymore.
No, I never have. I just never have. I'm trying to think, like, no one really called me anything. I just like,
dang.
Jay Moore. It's just like nothing. You can't really do a play off my name or anything like that. Like Scott Gucheski, people call him Gooch. That's perfect. Like,
don't you hate not having a nickname? Like just not having something that's easy to pick up?
I don't know. Like
I'd hate writing that name on the ACT,
I have a
though.
good friend I played golf with yesterday, and his last name is Boosalis. We call him Boo.
That's
cool. I just don't have any.
People call me Raj. Like my last name's Rogers.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's great. Like I'm probably sure you get a lot of the
great.
Aaron
Sure.
Cool,
Let's stop talking about you now.
No. I imagine you probably get a whole lot of the Aaron Rodgers commercials.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
I do.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I had his paycheck.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't we all?
Yeah.
Don't we all?
Anna, what about you? Nickname? If you had a golf nickname, what would it be?
Golf nickname.
She's played golf one time.
I played golf one time. I don't know. One time wonder. Anna B. That's what they call me.
Anna B.
Put me on this course. Maybe I'm winning. I don't know.
I actually get to play this course on Monday.
Because I wouldn't try hard, and I would have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know anything about this course, like how it plays or anything. So maybe I would do really well.
Mm-hmm.
Accidentally.
I get to play the course on Monday after the Pinnacle Bank Championship.
We'll have to follow up with that.
Yes.
About how you do. And we should bring Jay out there to teach you some things.
Stop it, Peanut Gallery. Stop it. No, I will probably shoot in the 90s.
You need a caddy? I'll come caddy.
Yeah, you want a caddy?
Yeah, we'll document the whole thing.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
We'll Instagram live.
We're drinking.
This is the start of your PGA Tour card birth.
Yes, exactly. I'm going to shoot like 10 under. Yeah, that'd be amazing. So, just a lot of variables starting day one of the round one of the Pinnacle Bank Championship here on the Korn Ferry Tour. Hey, Jay, thanks for joining us.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
We really appreciate it. Are you sticking around?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to go. Brandon's probably on about the 5th or 6th hole, Brandon Crick, so I'm going to go try to follow him for a few holes. And then I'm going to go play a little golf myself with some buddies in Omaha this afternoon. So we got
y'all geared up.
He's golfed out.
I'm rarely ever golfed out. I'll play today, and playing this weekend, so
Awesome.
I can't get enough of it.
I love to hear it. Well, Hurrdat Sports and Hurrdat Media is the premier podcast and social media sponsor of the Pinnacle Bank Championship. You can catch us here on location. We are right next to the players' side of the clubhouse, so when you are walking into the clubhouse, which you can't do, but if you're looking at the clubhouse, we're off to the left by the driving range and by the putting green. You can't miss us. We'll be back Saturday morning at 9 o'clock. We'll finish up on Sunday. We're also going to be posting social media content left and right here at the club at Indian Creek. Guys, thanks again. Anna, for Jay, for myself, Andrew Rogers, our producer, Sasha Durkin, this is Inside the Pinnacle Bank Championship.